Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave. This is a TCSF podcast with your hosts E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
This is episode 16, brought to you by Noir, Ceasar, Villain Radio Studios, and Grit Clothing Company.
That's right.
This week in 3 and Out, our Bears analyst Il Brown gives us his X's and O's on the Monday night Bears game in La La Land versus the Los Angeles Rams in that new stadium.
It's so pretty.
And we look ahead to next week's home game versus the New Orleans Saints.
They don't do all that well up here, so.
Yeah, every time we say that, they kick our butt.
Not up here, though.
Yeah.
Not up here.
Oh, boy. Anyways, let's move on. And hey, don't forget, this week we have part 2 of our interview with our guy, Ozzie Guillen Jr.
Yeah, he's our guy now, right?
Yeah, he's our guy now. Yeah, he's a TCSF podcast guy now. Ozzie gave us a little shout out on his show on Friday because, you know, we like to watch and comment on his stuff.
That's right.
You got to keep him in line a little bit sometimes. So, yeah, he gave us a little shout out, which is much appreciated. Thank you, Ozzie.
Yes, absolutely.
You can check out the show, Being Guillen, on La Vida Baseball. Ozzie Jr., along with his brother Oni, and his dad, Ozzie Sr., discussed the world of baseball and their relationship with the game.
Awesome.
But first, this is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
All right, E, what's up first?
The Cubs.
Just Cubs news?
Where's the money? Where's the money? The Cubs seem to be in financial disarray.
I don't want to hear about the Cubs have no money. I don't want to hear about the Cubs have no money. I don't want to hear about the Cubs have no money. I don't want to hear about the Cubs have no money. Cubs have no money. Cubs have no money. Cubs have no money. I don't want to hear about the Cubs have no money.
So here's the thing. So this was back in August when it was first reported on The Athletic.
Right.
They said that the Cubs have laid off, or they're at least waiting until the end of the season to lay off more than 100 employees, many of which held key roles in the team's recent success. Mm-hmm. We're talking about guys like scouts, baseball ops guys, important guys to the team.
I think what it sounds like is they're going to restructure everything.
It sounds like they paid a lot of money for all the improvements.
Mm-hmm.
And
now that they're done.
And now that they're done and they have a whole season with no money coming in, I mean, Theo, he mentioned in the end of a Zoom call, at the end of the season Zoom call, and basically blamed it on the lack of revenue due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't want to hear that. What about the years you've owned the team and you had record numbers of revenue? I'm pretty sure you made a lot of money in 2017.
Okay, they've also said that their budget for all the improvements doubled. By 100%.
Okay, but there's something you got to say for
and
that.
You got to pay for you got to pay Yu Darvish and you got to pay Hayward.
Well, I don't want to hear that. There's the baseball operational side, which is one side of it, and then there's the improvement side of the structure, and you're trying to improve the entire neighborhood. Why is that coming out of your baseball operation?
This is what I will say, and I've said this over and over again because people talk about how, how is it possible that a millionaire can go bankrupt, or when you had like football on strike or baseball on strike and it says you got guys taking out loans. Remember a couple of years ago, they had a lot of rookies from, I want to say it was football. Was it football or basketball? It was one of these leagues that were on strike and they were talking about, I had to borrow money from this guy, that guy, whatever. So they're like, well, how you make all this money? I says, let me tell you something. If you work in the United States or half the world, the Western world, okay? A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
Now, just because you make more than I do, you might still live paycheck to paycheck.
Right, yeah, more
you rely on that money. It's not about responsibility. If I say that every, third, whatever, I know that this check, my mortgage is coming out of this check, and my other
But
bills
that's
are
the
coming
cost
out
of
that
living.
check.
That's your
fine.
cost of living.
And that's fine.
Right.
But this is my point. If you know that I get a check on the 15th and the 30th, and on the 15th and the 30th, I pay my mortgage on the 15th, I pay my other bills on the 30th. All of a sudden, that money's gone. That money's gone. So my point is
budgeting.
that, and that's fine. But that goes back to the thing I just said. If I already told you that my improvement budget already doubled, where's that money coming from? The money's coming from when they came out and they said. Now, I'm not looking at their books. I have a hard time adding. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about numbers here. But my point is that if you're looking at the fact that they're already telling you, number one, they said 70% of the revenue goes back into the team.
Yes.
Okay. 70% of the revenue go back into the team. That means that 30% of the revenue goes into whatever else you need to, whether it goes to
operating
ops,
costs.
whether it goes to building what they did when you have all the stuff that they built up around the stadium.
Right.
That looks completely different. I kind of miss the old McDonald's that was all scummy, you know, and the Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
But I will say they did a really good job of improving the area and all the stuff that's around there. It's great. It's a great, nice family feel, atmosphere where you don't necessarily have like the drunk guy peeing on the side of the stadium anymore. They brought the team a World Series. The fact of the matter remains is that money had to come from somewhere. Okay. Yeah. So now, I mean, like I said, I don't look at the numbers. I don't know how all that works. But if they're crying poor, then that money had to have gone somewhere. And now you got an entire 162 game season, whether you're including your merchandise, whether you're including your revenue that comes from the concessions, the ticket sales, the second market ticket sales, whatever it may be.
Yeah, anything that's outside of general seating tickets. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't include the luxury box. General seating tickets. That's what I'm saying. That's part of MLB's revenue. Okay, so that's split between the teams and revenue, and that's a share revenue.
Nobody's coming into your stadium.
I get that.
So that money is not there where it normally be.
So 2017, 18, 19.
Where? All that money has been put back into the stadium. All that you're
telling me they're not putting the money to save?
Where? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I don't see it.
I mean, look, here's the thing. What did Ricketts say? He goes, the scale of losses around the league is biblical. We don't have an inside track to look at the books. We don't know what the true numbers are.
No, we don't.
So my point is that the way that it looks, you finally completed a major project. And right when you complete it, and now you have to look at who you're going to pay. Mm-hmm. You're going to you look at trying to pay all of your contractors that have been working on all this stuff,
right.
Okay? Now, you don't want to welch. There's someone very famous that lives in the United States right now who is really infamous for doing that kind of thing. Projects completed and not paying them.
Yeah, leaving them hanging.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
We're not going to get to that. But my point is that right now you still have to figure out, what are you going to do with the guy like Chris Bryant? Are you going to pay him? What are you going to do with your boy, because I don't know who this guy is, Ednel Javier Baez?
Who's that?
Exactly. I'm not even calling that dude by his nickname because I have no idea who that player was that I watched in 2020.
Oh boy!
But what I'm saying is
you think they took down the sign?
Humble Park. Man, look, man, I don't know. No, at Humble Park, bro. No, come on, bro.
He's God.
Come on, bro.
Over there.
He's God over there. He got the MLB logo, and bro. Come on, bro. There's so many things I want to say right now.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on because we have a good baseball segment coming up next week that we're gonna dive into. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna switch over to the west side of Chicago.
West side?
That's right. Over on Damon and Madison, over my hood. The Bulls. Yeah, we got some chatter, man. We got some chatter. So there's some chatter of what they're gonna do with this number 4 pick. I mean, you got new administration up on top. You got a new coach. Mm-hmm. He already cleaned house with the coaches.
He did.
So there's a possibility that they're talking about moving up. And there's a couple teams out there, but I'm just going to focus on one. Mm-hmm. The Warriors. You know the Warriors are stacked. Mm-hmm. And they got the number 2 pick in the draft. So
of course they do.
Right. The rich get richer, right?
Of course they do.
All right. So here's what I propose. The Bulls get Wiggins from the Warriors and their second pick.
Okay.
They're going to give up. Well, let me just give you Wiggins because you gave me your eyebrows just raised up. Mm-hmm. All right. Wiggins averaged 21 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists, almost a steal a game, and a block a game.
Okay.
He shot almost 45% from the field.
Okay.
33 from the arcs, 70 from the free throw line. So he's a decent wing guy.
He's a decent player. I don't think he's worth what he originally was drafted to be. No, I get it. What do they get rid of then?
You're unloading salary, but at the same time, you're going to be giving up your first round pick.
So they're giving up number 4.
They're giving up number 4 for the number 2. And they're going to give up their second round pick because the Bulls have never picked anybody good in the second round. Otto Porter Jr. and Daniel Gafford. What do you think, E?
So you're basically moving up 2 spots. You're bringing in Wiggins. You're giving up Gafford, who we don't know what he is.
We don't know what he's going to be, right?
And you give up my boy Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie.
You know.
All night long?
All night long. Guess what? I would love to see him play all night long, but he ain't played for half the night.
Oh, my goodness.
Since he's been here, he's been injured, you know what I mean, for the most part. I mean, look, we're looking at a draft where we didn't see the tournament.
Unknowns.
We didn't see the tournament whatsoever.
Right. A lot of unknowns.
You got a lot of unknown players in this draft. If you talk to our boy Mike Logic, you know he's going after Lonzo Ball's little brother.
Oh,
you know he's in love with the Balls
family.
But so I mean that would have been his pick. I mean you got a lot of guys sitting there. I think like 1 through like 4 or 5. It's kind of the same guy. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like I said,
it's a mixed bag of balls.
Right. That's a ball bag. So look. If you're looking at you get your pick of one of those first 5 players, and you get Wiggins back, who could help your team. And you get rid of Porter, Gafford. Like I said, we don't know a lot yet.
Right.
But then you got that second round pick. I mean, they're going to have to spend a little bit of money here and bring in another player, see who they can get in free agency too. So I mean, hell, why not? Why
Chris
not?
Paul?
You bring in Wiggins for a fresh start over here.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. I mean,
the good mentor. Good mentor. You still put up numbers.
I like Chris Paul as a mentor, but I also think that, and there's a common thought around the league, or at least in our circles here, that think that Chris Paul would kind of overtake that spotlight when
from the coach.
They work
together.
They do, but we really kind of want Kobe White to be able to shine on his own. And I think coming into his second year, I think that's the goal with him.
Yeah,
he we thought he cut off all his hair because he did that one video where
I thought he did,
bro,
man. I was like, whoa,
man, I can't grow hair and you cut yours off. But that was such an insult, man. I was so upset. But yeah, I mean, I think with that, I'm not against Chris Paul. And because he worked well with Billy Donovan on OKC, I don't know. I mean, I'm not completely against the move, but I don't know. I don't know. You want as many picks as possible, but I mean, I think if you can move up 2 picks. Last time the Chicago team had the number 2 pick,
it didn't work out too well.
No, it didn't. It did not.
All right.
It left us empty.
Let me go to another team by the same owner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the White Sox officially interviewed Tony Oldest Dust LaRussa, who hasn't coached since 2011, has been bouncing around the league as a special advisor.
Yeah, special advisor. I mean, he was
to losing teams.
He hasn't coached since 2011. He was born in 1911, so I don't know what he's still doing in baseball.
Jesus. All right, let's not beat a dead horse with all this speculation on who the next manager is going to be, because you know what? They're not going to make a decision until after the World Series. As of right now, today, Sunday, they're still playing. Go Dodgers.
So, not if the Rays have anything to say about that.
That game yesterday. Oh my God.
That was a great ending. That was a great ending.
No, not for the Dodger fans.
That was a great ending in baseball history.
Oh, no.
We're talking about
Hands
game.
down,
We're talking about game 4 of the World Series. There was the only 2 other times in baseball history where a team came up and won from 2 runs down in the 9th inning. To come back and win on a walk-off. Now, that's a word salad, Dad.
Technically, it wasn't a walk-off.
I mean, it is. They walked off a winner.
Yeah, but whatever. Technically, it wasn't a walk-off.
They walked off with a win.
Just give me the news about in South Bend, man.
Bro, college, we got some... No, hold up. Before we jump... I'm not done talking about Tony La Russa's old ass. What is going on over here? Look, man, what did I tell you? I told you who's going to be the next manager of the White Sox.
You said Alex Hinge.
No, AJ Hinch. Not
AJ Hinch.
You think about Alex Cora and AJ
Yeah.
Hinch. You want
Hey, we combine them both. That'd be awesome.
Can we get a combination of both? Can I just get the part of each who didn't cheat?
It's going to be the 2021 Chicago Astros.
Oh, hey, well, they already got the bearded one.
Yeah.
Look, AJ Hinch. That's
Yeah.
the guy. We talked to Ozzie
Yeah.
Jr. and we talked about Ozzie Sr. not being the guy, and they appreciated that. We'll finish up that interview this week. So y'all can check that out and listen to what he had to say. But AJ Hinch is my guy, man. I'm telling you, that's who I think should be the guy. But here's the thing, too.
Go ahead.
I have heard people say, is he really that great of a coach, or did he just kind of
Inherit. Yes.
Right.
He inherited a good team.
Right.
So he hasn't proven to me that he's a good coach.
Because
he had a winning record and, he advanced far, but you also had a star-studded team.
Because, I mean,
And your team was cheating.
if we're talking about Dust, we'll go back to Dusty.
No.
No, listen. What did that team do? What did that team do this year? They made it to the ALCS and they made it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Without
mean?
cheating.
Right, without cheating because they couldn't. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, is it the team or is it the coach?
Again, it's a good team down there.
Yeah.
Houston has a good team. Now they're going to have a bunch of free agents, a lot of holes in their lineup now because some of these players might move around. Now, while you're saying AJ Hinch coming to the White Sox, this is where I'm apprehensive, and I don't want to dive in too much into this because I want it for next week.
We're gonna do a deep dive into baseball next week. But
I'm just gonna
give me a teaser.
Yeah, your boy who's gonna go in the Cy Young Award.
Yeah, I know.
In the National League, Trevor Bauer.
No, I know.
So he's been very outspoken about the Astros cheating.
Right.
Like until last week, he's still calling them cheaters and saying this and that. So if you get AJ Hinch, there's no possible way you get this ace on the White Sox.
Right.
And I'd rather have the ace because players play.
I mean, I get it, but then, yeah.
I'm
look,
sorry.
I'm
Players
not.
play.
Look, we're gonna hold off the rest because I don't want to give away the whole bag right now. But
That's all right. We'll argue next week. It's all good.
Once we get into our baseball, because we got a lot of baseball talk to go still. Once the World Series is finished up and we know exactly who's going where or who we think is going to go where. We'll go into that. But what I want to do now is I want to get over into some of the college game. We got a couple squads here, our local college football teams. First off, I'm talking about my Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Play like a champion.
Yes, they did. They did. It was all Irish in the game against the Pitt Panthers. Ian Book came up. He threw for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they completely steamrolled Pitt on their way to a 45-3 victory.
Was Wannstedt coaching the Pittsburgh Panthers?
No, but he was definitely in the background, shaking his fist and saying, "These darn guys." Man, how does that guy? He still sounds like he's on the Bears.
Yeah,
that he's the coach of the Bears. He's this guy that puts like an S at the end of every word. When he talks about his kid, he goes, "Yes, my daughters, I got 3 daughters and 2 sons, and they watch the football." This guy, I love
Southside Chicago, man,
bro. He's a great football mind. But hey, look, so. The Irish beat up on Pitt. It's a good look for the Irish, but this is what they do. They pick on crappy teams. Just wait till they got to play Clemson on November 7th.
Oh, my God.
You know I love the Irish, but that's going to be a bloodbath.
You're going to watch that like the little scared girl watching a horror movie with one eye open and your hand over your face like, oh, my God, oh, my God.
No, I'm going to I told you I'm not going to watch that game. I'm going to watch the lowlights later on SportsCenter. I can't watch that stuff. Yeah. So, but next up for Notre Dame is Georgia Tech, who Clemson just put up 73 points on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but don't snooze on Georgia Tech because they have a pretty good program. But I mean, Clemson is like literally almost an NFL team
right now. They go in and out. I mean, their last 2 quarterbacks, okay, blah blah blah. But either way, I mean, Clemson still put up 73 points on them, and I want to see if the Irish has enough fight in them.
Yeah, we'll see.
To put up a similar score.
Yeah, put up their Dukes.
Put up your Dukes. All right, what you got going on in Evanston there?
Ooh, Evanston, the men in purple.
Yes, sir.
The Purple Haze. I don't know. What's their nickname? I mean, they're Wildcats, but do they have any other nicknames?
The Fighting Fitzgeralds.
Hey, that's awesome. Look out for the meme, people. Look out for the meme. Coming soon.
Yeah.
Speaking of blowouts, so the Big Ten football is back.
Finally.
Yes. After saying several times that they would not play, the Big Ten got their pop-up together, and their season got going.
They're crap.
Yeah. I didn't want to say. Our local Big Ten team.
That's what they like to tell us. They're a local Big Ten team, the Northwestern Wildcats.
Why are they not a Big Ten team?
They are. They said our local Big Ten team.
They're local, Evanston.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're counting South Bend. It's a whole different state.
Yeah, but South Bend, like Chicago is full of Cubs and Irish fans. What I'm saying is that my point, sir, is that Northwestern beats that drum pretty hard to make sure we know that they are our local Big Ten team.
Yeah, they do.
Sir.
It's all marketing.
All right.
So Northwestern had a great showing right out the box, beating up on Tua Tagovailoa, little brother.
It's Tua, man. Just say Tua.
All right, Tua's little brother.
Taulia.
Jesus Christ,
Bro,
all these
Hawaiian.
vowels.
They're Hawaiian.
Last week, no vowels. This week, and the Maryland Terrapins by the final score 43-3.
That sounds like a Notre Dame score.
Yeah. Do they play this year?
I don't think so. No, they don't because they're not crossing streams this year.
No purple and gold? Okay. All right. So Northwestern finished the game with 537 total yards.
Jeez.
Can we hire some of those guys on the damn Bears team? Including 325 yards. Wait, am I reading this right? 325 yards rushing?
Read it how it's written. That's it. Yes, I wrote it right.
Yes, you did write my promo. Your right section this time.
Yeah, man, this one.
300. Are you kidding me?
325, bro.
Can we just take 100 and put it on the Bears team? These guys.
Look, if we could get like 25 of those yards rushing on the Bears, that'd be great. Because I mean, I think our high this year was 58 yards.
Right. So it's still not 100. All right, 9 players, including Peyton, quarterback Peyton Ramsey, had a rushing attempt.
That's what it is. They spread the ball. They spread the ball, man.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Pat Fitzgerald. I mean, we both are actually because, we went to Lane Tech and it's we have a little bit of a fond memory when USC played. Jesus, why am I jumping in this?
So when?
How about you take over? Take over.
All right. So Pat Fitzgerald was on the Northwestern Wildcats team
back when we were in high school.
In '96 when we went to Lane, and he was on the team that went to the Rose Bowl and unfortunately got their butts kicked against USC. But
they got there though.
But we were actually
geeked about that.
So it was cool because I was in ROTC.
Okay.
And USC came to the field and practiced. And we were because the ROTC was underneath the stadium, so we could pop out, and it sucked because I wanted to be in gym. I did not like being ROTC. Anyone that was in RO with me,
physical education class, sir.
Everyone that was in RO with me knows how much I hated it. I hate shining the brass. I'm like, why? I'm supposed to be playing basketball. Why am I doing another class? But my pops really wanted to be in the military, and guess what? I didn't do. I didn't go to the military at all. But I remember being there, and we could pop out the other side to enter the stadium because we came from outside and we went underneath, and we would pop out there. And I remember giving some of these USC players so much crap, and they were flipping us off. And I'm like 16, I'm this little kid, and I'm like, yeah, you guys suck, because it took a while for me to grow into a full-grown man. But but yeah, I mean, like I look, Pat Fitzgerald is a super cool guy. Go Cats. That's all he ever says is Go Cats. Every time he takes a breath, it's Go Cats. When he takes a crap, he goes Go Cats. And I'm like, I'm wondering if he like meows in his sleep or what. But guess what? Fitzgerald is a really cool dude. He played here, and I'm always rooting for them.
Great fond memories of our high school years, and that was a pretty cool little nugget to have an actual really good team. Yeah. Show up on Lane Tech.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Sorry, I had to dig. We never had a good team.
We were decent, but I mean, like, do you remember that much about Lane Tech football when we were there? I remember going and like.
I mean, I would go to the pep rallies and some of the games.
There were girls. That's what, like, are there girls? Yes. Are you going to be there? Yes.
All right,
that's
cool.
Why? Because they're girls. That's how high school went. You just follow the girls.
Mom, can I get $1.25? Why? Because I'm gonna take the CTA up to Lane Tech and watch a game.
I need a token and a bus pass. I need the reduced fare.
We had them flimsy little passes. You remember the blue with the picture on them?
Bro, I used to put clear tape all over it and cut it out. It's 100 times. I'm sure I got one somewhere here.
Yeah, I got one too. All right, we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh gear from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create simple, classic clothing that represents their Southside Chicago lifestyle. With products like hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and glassware, Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% to your entire order. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
Welcome back to True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
That's right.
Are you ready for some football?
I am.
It's time for Bears Talk. This is 3 and Out. All right, E. I know we're gonna flip it up this time. Let's start with the defense, man. What you got?
Defense. Defense as good as they normally are. Not a whole ton that they did, different than what they normally do. Gave up a little bit more points. Bend don't break, but they broke a few times. Rams end up with 371 yards. That's because the Bears were tired.
That defense was out there all night long.
All night. 210 yards passing from, a very average quarterback on the Rams. They gave up a lot of rushing yards, 161. They forced 5 punts. Time of possession was about equal between the two.
It was even.
Third down efficiency for the Rams, 4 of 13. So, they did their job when it came to that. But not all is well on the defensive front. When we're talking about an ugly game, I'm going to talk about a lot of ugly things today.
How ugly?
As ugly as Akeem Hicks. Akeem Hicks. This big, goofy man. Look, I like Hicks. He's very in his own feelings.
I think it'd be good to hang out with him and drink 40 beers and have chicken wings.
But here's the problem. I think he had 40 beers and them wings before the game today.
Oh, boy.
Because he kept making mistake after mistake after mistake and grinning and smiling about it like it's no big deal. That's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know if he's taking this seriously. I think he's just like, I'm going to go through the motions. Did he have a lot of fun in La La Land?
I don't know what he was doing out there, but he number one, when the Rams fumbled the ball, what did he do? Ran away from the ball.
He just stood there. He could have picked up that fumble.
You see him running through the screen. You see him running through the screen. There's that meme where the kid said something. He's like, and everyone's like, "Oh snap!" And then the one kid comes across the screen with his hands on his face. That's what Akeem Hicks looked like running across the screen. And when that ball's on the ground, he's like, "Oh my!" It was like, "Keep away, get away from the ball."
Maybe we need to paint some chicken wings on that football.
I don't know. Look, this man sat there, and when he had a dog pile, he just had bad penalties. I don't know if he was frustrated. What his problem is.
To be honest, the whole team is undisciplined. Let's just be honest.
No, but he's number one. He's number one because
there's got to be a leader in everything.
You can't be the leader in being undisciplined, and Akeem Hicks is the number one undisciplined player because the rest are quiet. You can't be loud. I don't know, man. He's a frustrating. I like him, but he's very frustrating.
All right, what week is this? What, 7?
We're going into week 8, I believe.
So this is week 7. This is game 7, right? You put that on a coach on being an undisciplined team. You
put that on Hicks because Hicks been like that his whole career. His whole career. This is a grown man. We're not talking about little kids here.
A grown.
He is a grown man. All right. The other thing, too, is Gibson, man, you should have caught that ball. What are you doing? What are you doing? Swatting at the ball, playing volleyball? Catch the ball, man. That's an easy 6 right there.
Well, how long have we been saying we need some Lovey back?
Well, what is it? A little bit of Lovey?
A little bit of Lovey. We need a little bit of Lovey.
That's our boy's phrase there. The thing the one good thing about the defense is that Ejax finally got his touchdown when it was the most pathetic touchdown.
Yes.
I don't even count that touchdown. You know what I mean? Realistically, this is a 24-3 game. That's what this game was.
Which is pathetic.
It's awful.
You're holding their offense to, around 20 points a game. You should be winning. We've been saying this for 7 weeks now.
Right.
There's no excuses anymore.
Right.
So when we in Chicago are saying this is the worst 5-1 team, and now the nation knows it.
Yep.
Guess what?
There's a reason why we're saying it. There's a reason why the fans are saying it. There's a reason why the national pundits are saying it. There's a reason why a lot of these talk shows about football had the clean sweep when they picked the Rams to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of, you know what I mean? We're like, oh, they don't respect us. They don't. Okay, well, show that you deserve respect.
That offense is not respectable.
Nah.
As simple as that.
So what we're going to do now is we're not even going to go into offense. We're going to go straight to there's no first down, second down. This is all fourth down. So we're going to go straight to Will. We're going to bring him in, and we're going to talk about all this. I mean, I don't know about you, Will, but I'm ready to rant. What's up with you?
Yeah, I think I'll be getting in my bag this evening. If that's what the young kids say.
Yeah. All right,
the young fellows out there.
All right, let me start you off. Inept offense. Again, no running game. And I know we talked about that we may now have the offensive line for a running game, but this is the NFL.
Yep.
No, not all the guys on the offensive line are all specialized in passing.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they've run block sometime in college, sometime in high school, Pee-wee, somewhere, on Madden. I don't care.
49 rushing yards.
Yeah. Well, Monty 14 that stands for 49 rushing yards. The offensive line is not creating holes for him, and then he's stopping, going.
Yo, that was so frustrating. I mean, and I talked about him being a Le'Veon Bell style running back. He's looking for the hole. You're in the open space. Why are you stopping flat? Jump forward, dive forward, fall forward, do something. He's standing there looking at it. What are you doing?
Yeah, but you know what? The play calling doesn't help. I mean, you're every time he's back there, they know it's a run.
Yeah, well, what's up with this running game, man?
Yeah, preach.
At this point, Matt Nagy's offense, I don't know what they're doing in film. I don't know what they're doing when it's time to come up.
He's not looking at film.
I don't know what they're doing.
Come on, Will. He's not even looking at film.
Nah, that's BS. Don't be.
He should be looking at Sean McVay's film.
Don't be a meathead now. don't be a meathead. They watching film. They're watching film. They're watching tons of film.
But guess what?
And
sometimes I watch TV and I don't pay attention to what happened.
Look, man, they're watching film. It's just one of those things where Ryan Pace is going to have to come down and save his own job. Take the clipboard from Matt Nagy, man.
Please.
Take the clipboard from him, man.
Please.
I'm pretty sure DiFilippo, Laser could call a better game than that, man.
What is the deal with Patterson? He's not a running back. I don't like him on offense whatsoever. What do you think?
He's got a bromance.
What you're seeing is Matt Nagy's ego getting the best of him.
Yes.
Trying to be cute, trying to shore up positions. I mean, let's be real. We need an entire overhaul on offense.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Period.
Where's Lamar Miller? We picked him up. Why are we not using him? I'd rather use him than Patterson.
I don't care if you have Reggie Miller. You're not getting no yards on with this O-line. They refuse to call enough runs for these guys to get in the rhythm to run block like I've always talked about. It's like the play calling is so erratic. I don't know who can do what.
Nothing smooth.
I don't know who can do what.
There's no rhythm. There's no rhythm in this offense.
Like you just mentioned Montgomery kind of being hesitant. Like when you got Aaron Donald literally trying to steal the handoff, he's in the
he's in the huddle.
He's in the huddle. It's like he's just like, yo, this is unlike any level of football I've ever played at, because nothing works. And it's just
the thing is that they took the defensive lineman Rashad Coward and put him on the offensive line, and he can't play there either.
It's foolishness. It's like you got a guy.
They play remember the Titans kind of
thing.
You
got Alex Bars, who's played at Notre Dame, who in relief duty once Daniels got injured, looked okay. Like, give me the guys that have been an offensive lineman their whole life. I don't need no project, no. You're talking about a 5-1 team, whether it's a terrible 5-1 or lucky 5-1, whatever you want to call it. It's hard. It's hard to be 5-1 in the NFL. So
this is what I'll call it right now. And I said it when I went live after the game yesterday. I says they're winning by hook or by crook, and it seems like all 5 of them wins came by crook, because if it wasn't for DeAndre Swift dropping that ball in the first game, that's a loss. If it wasn't for Matt Ryan and the Falcons just completely falling apart like they're very well known to do, that's another loss.
Yes.
I mean, like they're about 5 plays away from being winless in the season.
So if you take those 2 wins away, and what are they?
What do you mean?
Take those 2 wins away and make them losses. What are they?
Yeah, exactly.
They're what? They're 500, right?
Right.
There's the Lions.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
There's the Lions.
The Giants are terrible. You know what I mean? Like, but my point. This is where all the frustration comes in, because when you have all the fans saying that they were the worst 5-1 team, you have all the pundits in the national media, in the local media, at your local bar, wherever it is, talking about this is the worst 5-1 team I ever seen. Well, think about the fact that now all of the frustration of pretty much like 95% of the games that they did win, you get 95% of the game where they're down. They can't do anything.
Right, because they're playing from behind every game.
Now I'm sitting
Except for the
here,
last one.
all the frustration, and you know me. Both y'all know me when I'm talking about the Bears. I'm optimistic. I'm like, give Nagy a chance. Give Pace a chance. Give Trubisky a chance. I'm fed up.
Chances are done.
I'm fed up because now I'm looking at the fact that we watched them almost blow every game this season, and the fact that they just completely got decimated this game. All of that frustration of all of them games they barely won is all boiled over right now, and that's how I feel.
This is not going to fly with the Saints. This is not going to fly with the Titans. This is not going to fly with the Packers or the Texans, because the Texans can still pull up points. They're a horrible team, but they can still put up points.
Well, what do we do? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, Will.
Well, you're going to be confused again next week because the Bears are going to come out and beat the Saints. This is what I'm talking about. It's too erratic of a team. Like, next week, they'll do some things that work, and everybody will be like, oh, maybe we do have something here. And it's just inconsistent. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the name of the game, man. Like, since Pace has come to town, they've done just enough to pacify the fan base, man. Like, holy cow, I don't want to get fired. Let me go trade for Khalil Mack. That'll buy me some time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you have to build football teams from the inside out. And I don't know any other way where you're going to have any success, man. Like, you can't keep patchworking this offensive line. It's dudes on the offensive line that we know can't play.
Right.
Why are they still here? Like, why the whole right side of the offensive line is terrible.
It's just warm bodies at this point.
And it's just like,
there's no players.
You got cap room. You don't see this? We have a trade deadline coming up. You don't see this? Like, there are ways to get better and get better in a hurry. I need some guys that at least give me the flexibility to run a simple power play. Like, we can't.
I mean, if you're not calling Dallas right now and saying, hey, can we get some of those good offensive linemen, you know, the last couple you got left?
Yeah, whoever you got, man, send them over, because it's pathetic.
We're talking about the projects. We're talking about the gadget players. You're looking at, like I said, Rashad Coward. I'm looking at Patterson. I'm looking at, like, frustration here. This is driving me crazy. We need to stop.
Why is Ginn in the game? He's scared to touch the ball.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's also 157 years old.
Like,
I am so tired of projects. I want a finished product. Nagy is a project himself. Pace is a project.
Yes.
Bingo.
Trubisky is a project.
Yes.
Every aspect, every layer of this team is a project.
Hey man, this isn't painting with Bob Ross where you mess up and like, oh, we'll just make it birds. We'll make it birds.
Put a little tree in the corner there.
Yeah,
That's not working.
Yeah, we'll make it birds.
I can consume all the trees I want, and it won't make this team any better. Okay.
So, it's just a very unfortunate circumstance that is what we all thought all along. Like, man, we have to get something in place because you don't want to waste this type of a defense. Like, you have a very small window with this group of guys.
Yes.
And they're wasting it, man. Like, you had an opportunity to go and get Cam Newton. You could go and get Bridgewater. Like, you don't go out in free agency and tell Bridgewater, hey, we like to sign you, but you have to compete with Mitch. No, you go out and say,
and then give it to Foles. And then give it to Foles. It makes no sense.
Bro, that's
Like-
that's what I said. I was literally today going back and listening to some of our old shows, and we're talking. What I say? Why in the world, if you're gonna let Mitch only have 10 quarters of football, and you knew that you were gonna give it to Foles?
Why start there?
Why even go there?
Didn't you at least pursue someone else? Why didn't you just let Mitch go? You could have signed Cam Newton. You could have still got Foles if you wanted to. You could have signed Bridgewater. Let these guys compete if you're going to do that.
I would have happened if they would have signed Bridgewater and signed Cam with that minimum,
Right.
and let them duke it out. And guess what?
Right.
Either one of them was way better than the quarterbacks we have right now.
All day long, man. I mean, you have an opportunity to go get Teddy Bridgewater, man. If nothing else, that dude is steady. You don't
Yes.
Right.
you don't tell this man that you have to beat out Mitch Trubisky. He's thinking in his mind, what?
I can beat him in my sleep.
But that's what I'm saying is that when you look at how bad Mitch is, there's no reason Bridgewater shouldn't have been able to beat him.
That's not the point. The point is, you saw what I did to you guys when I came into your house.
It's a slap in the face.
And kicked you guys in the lower region.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On prime time, like, bro,
It's
you know my work. You see Mitch. I'm not even finna
basically
come here. I'm not competing with nobody.
what you're telling me is that in one hand I got a Snickers bar, and the other hand I got candy corn. You're trying to tell me these are both candy?
Exactly.
No, they're not.
Right. That's right.
All right. So Foles was 28 for 40 with 261 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Right.
I don't think we want Foles in his house anymore. Sorry, bro. You gotta go. You gotta go home. You ain't gotta go home, but you can't stay here, bro.
I got an interesting perspective when it comes to Nick Foles, right?
Okay.
Matt Nagy's so terrible of a play caller and a coach that I don't even know if Nick Foles is truly sucking it up. Like, you're looking at looking at personnel groupings that are putting this guy at a disadvantage. You get in the red zone, and now here we go. It's time to get cute. Let's take all of our best weapons out of the game. There's no Komet. There's no Jimmy Graham. Let's take all of our best guys in the red zone out.
Those two guys should be on every down, every play.
I'm looking. See, here's the thing. We normally write down pretty much what we want to say.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
especially me, because I will go on a rant on every topic, and I will sit here and I'm very disciplined, and I'm very cautious about what I'm going to say. Do it, because that man, we need that, right? We need that right now. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm literally writing notes in a notebook like it's 1972. These are my notes. Hicks undisciplined. Gibson not catching the interception. Mack over pursuing because they can't figure it out because they're making him look foolish because they're doing one thing and he has to go the other way. Nagy a problem. Personnel a problem. Run game is trash. Where is Komet and Graham? 5 wins. That's frustrating because we're looking at how bad those 5 wins look. Maggie has no creativity. He's predictable, and McVay is younger and smarter, and he made him look like a fool.
McVay was a clinic.
Was the genius.
He had a clinic out there on bunching up receivers.
Yep.
Creating space for his quarterback. Timing was there.
He caught Buster Screen off guard on that one play.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I have 2 good things that I did see. 2 good. Mooney is a great route runner. And he got overthrown, so that's not on him. But
that's not on Foles either. That's on the line.
That's on the line.
That's on the line because when he threw that,
one of them is on the line.
No, that overthrow to Mooney when he was down the left side of the field when he overthrew him. That's
when
because
he was wide open
because he had to throw the ball so early because
what about the other one? Was out of bounds.
That's fine. I'm talking about this particular play.
No, I know you're talking about where he had him beat. That was 6
that
points.
one is whatever to me because every quarterback we watch, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, everyone overthrows someone sometimes, especially on deep passes. But that particular play that I'm talking about on the left side, that was because of the pressure and because the offensive line is so bad.
His feet weren't set and he had to rush and throw it. I get that. All right, Komet, this boy can catch, can play.
Bro.
He can play. Put him on every single play. Make him your number 2 receiver, your number 3 receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Scheme him open. What do you say, Will?
I mean, this stuff is all elementary, man. I feel like I could walk in Hallis Hall right now, tell Matt Nagy step aside and come up with a game plan that'll be more effective. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but man, fundamentals always work in the National Football League. He's gotten
every single time.
He's gotten so far away from the fundamentals. Like, I'm not even seeing like staples, man. Like, we can't line up in the I formation and get a half a yard. We can't run a simple bootleg and scheme Cole Kmet open in the red zone or Jimmy Graham. Like, you watching other teams do this same stuff every week
with less talent.
Every
with less
single
talent.
week. Well, let me ask you a question, man. How many years did you play football?
Man, all my life coaching and playing, man.
Right. So you are experienced in being around the game. I'm a big boy, but I never played anything but street ball.
I've coached, and I'm going to tell you right now, I had co-ed elementary school.
Right.
I had 6 running plays, 6 passing plays, and
but this is
one of the plays had to one of the downs, it had to be what's considered a girl play, where the girl had to either pass the ball or run the ball. Guess what? I made my girl one of the best players because I was not going to be predictable. I was not going to be like, oh, we're just going to hand the ball off to the girl and get 1 yard. No, that's not happening. She's going to throw for a 15-yard pass, and we're going to get a touchdown.
The point of bringing that up in the first place,
yeah, go ahead,
was that Will been playing his whole life.
Yes.
2 boobs like you and me didn't play any organized football, and we could see this. Why can't Nagy, who was a quarterback his whole life, why
boobs.
can't he see this? Yeah, well, ain't nothing wrong with boobs.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because ego, that's why. He wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He thinks that he can outsmart other teams' game plans by getting cute. And what he doesn't realize is that you don't have the personnel to get cute. You don't have
no
exactly.
There's no Tyreek Hill. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Travis Kelce. There's no Le'Veon and Edwards-Helaire. That, like, you don't have all of these guys, bro.
He didn't run the ball over there anyways.
Exactly.
They didn't run the ball over there.
So here's my thing about Nagy. Number one, he's not seasoned enough.
Not at all.
He needed way more time. He needed a couple years of being offensive coordinator. He almost here's the problem is that if you rise through the ranks too quick, all of a sudden your doo-doo don't smell too bad to you and it smells like roses all the time. So now you're trying to push that doo-doo off on everyone else and they can smell how bad it is. So when you're over here sitting here trying to give us garbage and tell us it's caviar or whatever you want to say, we can't accept that because we can see it for what it really is. You got to season that garbage, put some salt on it, make it taste good, okay? You didn't have enough time to get that going. That's the problem, okay? Number 2, well, like I said, I'm listening to earlier episodes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to go through notes so we're all on the same page. One of the things that we were talking about the quarterback situation that Nagy has. And, Will, one of the things that you had said was that Nagy deserves the chance to pick his own quarterback through the draft. Now, when we're looking at this right now, we're looking at the little bit of success that he had with Trubisky, the little bit of success that he had with Foles. Do you still believe that Nagy deserves a chance to get another quarterback?
I feel like every head coach that has his own system deserves to draft and develop his guy or at least be able to identify a top-level free agent. You know what I mean? Like, you looked at the options. Like, that's what I'm saying. I was just baffled. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Ryan Pace has done Matt Nagy no favors.
No, not at all. His best drafting has been past the 4th round.
Yeah.
Anything earlier than that has been nothing but garbage.
But even in free agency, he has done Matt Nagy no favors because
no, not at all.
And this is why I say it always goes back to ego because at the end of the day, we knew what Mitch Trubisky was. After year 2, in Nagy's system. We knew what it was. Like, okay, either he's going to have to redesign an entire offense around this kid or it's going to end pretty bad. You know what I mean? And instead of saying, you know what, let's cut our losses and let's go out and get a real quarterback that can run this RPO system the right way.
Right.
You tell every free agent that's available
They got to compete.
They got to compete with Mitch. The only guy that said yes to that is the everyday relief pitcher Nick Foles, because that's what he is. He's a relief pitcher.
Agree. Yes. He's the seventh inning setup man.
Yeah, but he's getting used too much, and his arm is dead. So let me interrupt you a little bit quick. So there was a comment made by Greasy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I know you wanted to talk about.
I'm itching on that one.
So these commentators talk to the coach. They'll talk to an offensive player. They'll talk to a defensive player prior to the game the day before. There's conversation. There's no mics. There is no cameras. These are conversations between football analysts, football former players, and football current players.
I got it pulled up right here.
Now, and I want you to read it in a second.
Oh, I know. I can't wait.
So Foles discloses a little bit too much to a national media. And then when he brings it up in the game and lets the cat out of the bag, per se,
now everyone's got a backpedal.
Now everybody's got a backpedal on the post conference because they asked Nagy about it, and he's like, "Oh, me and Foles have a great relationship, and we talk about stuff, and I don't think that's not like him."
Right.
Read that for me, bro.
So this is what Brian Greasy said on the broadcast. This is what Brian Greasy said on the broadcast that Nick Foles said to him. He goes, "We were talking to Nick Foles yesterday, and he said, sometimes play calls come in, and I know that I don't have enough time to execute that play call. I'm the one out there getting hit. Sometimes the guy calling the plays, Matt Nagy, he doesn't know how much time there is back there." What?
He's got 2 seconds.
What?
He's got 2 seconds. 2.3 seconds is what they timed it.
What?
What'd you say, Il?
There's an unwritten rule, man, that if I
and Greasy was a quarterback for the damn Bears.
Right, he should not expose them like that.
If I give you some tea like that, man, you can't blow up the spot on me like that, man. But
man,
I'm gonna tell you, man, like just being in the locker room and hearing reporters come in and hearing certain players say, "Hey, you better not publish this," you know what I'm saying? Or
you got to say it's off the record,
right? Off the record. This, that, and the third. You can't reveal that, man. And
Greasy's trying to make his name bigger. That's what happened. I think.
You know what it is?
Yeah, he's definitely
that's part of it because it's his first year as a Monday Night Football analyst.
That's looking out for number one. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's definitely looking out for number one.
And he probably has. I would say Greasy probably has some frustration left over from his days of playing for the Bears.
They're the same damn quarterback.
I mean, he was Rex's backup when they went to the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're the same damn quarterback. They've been journeymen that end up nowhere.
So all right, let's simmer down now. Okay. Now
I'm running out of beverages.
Yeah, man. I heard that crack. So listen, I mean, I think this is a pretty predictable thing that's about to happen right now. Mm-hmm. But Will, give me your grades. Give me your offense, defense, and coaching grades.
If he's anything like me as a teacher, holy.
Let me tell you, man, offense gets incomplete.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Offense gets an incomplete, man. Like,
oh, God.
They didn't show up.
That ain't no offense, man. That's, hey.
They get an
incomplete, man.
Yeah, incomplete.
Defense, I'm going to give the defense a C-, man, because the game was close. They kept the game close, man. It's like,
they did.
Final score 24-3.
How much do you want the defense to keep you in the game? We're going into half 10-3 after all the red zone turnovers, after all the exotic stuff.
Bad field position, all that.
Like, after a while, the Bears adjusted to all the razzle-dazzle. It's just that when they get so many opportunities to keep doing it, you're going to get tired. And then you're going to, lose focus and get undisciplined because you're like, you can't say this to the media, but you're like, man, this crappy offense, I can't even go over there and get a cup of Gatorade. I can't even set my helmet down or buckle my chin strap because as soon as I high-five Chuck Pagano, turn around, you see Nick Foles and them running off the field. Like, what are y'all doing here?
You can't have Khalil Mack on the sideline, all dry-mouthed and everything like that. He's like, bro, I need oxygen and a drink. What's happening right now?
He's got white stuff around his mouth.
Right, he got the white corners over there.
He get double-teamed.
Come on, bro.
He's still making it happen, and then he goes with a sore back, mind you. He goes to have a
Right.
seat, like, yeah, we stopped him that time. And as soon as he looks up, here comes Nick Foles. Well, got to stop him again. Oh, yeah, and it's a short field. Like, come on, man. Like,
All right.
they're wasting this defense, and it's a shame. Still C-, man.
It is.
Because
So what?
Yeah.
Your coaching? What's your coaching grade?
That's got to be an incomplete too. That's got to be an incomplete.
No.
There's no incomplete on that
On
coaching
Nagy?
grade.
No, hell yeah. I need a letter grade on this because I'll tell you what, Nagy at this point, if you continue, what's the definition of
Put
insanity?
that kid in detention.
No, what is the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different
Yes,
result.
exactly.
And Nagy every week, just like Will said, every week with his damn ego, I can do it. I mean, he's basically, when Jay Cutler used to try to throw into them tight windows because he had a strong arm, that's what Nagy's doing. He's trying to force it down there. It ain't working. There's no incomplete there because you're putting effort in.
I got a letter grade.
Go ahead.
It don't stand for failure. It stands for fire.
Please.
Get out of here, bro.
I'm frustrated.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the Bears
Failure.
got hoodwinked by hiring Nagy way too early.
See, this is what I've been saying for years. See, this is what happens when you think, oh, we're Chicago Bears, we're Papa Bear Hallis and Bronco Nagurski and Dick Buckus, and you should be happy to be here. No,
Bear down.
you blew it by letting Bruce Arians get away.
Oh
And
my goodness!
I said this when that happened. Like, you don't let Bruce Arians leave here and he's not your coach. It's just
They had him in the building and they didn't execute. Give me real quick. Give me like 30 seconds here. Nagy as a coach, Trubisky as a quarterback, can they be salvaged in the NFL?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Baker Mayfield in Cleveland.
Ooh,
I'd rather not.
Mitch Trubisky is better than that dude.
mistake by the lake.
Mitch Trubisky is better than that dude. You could take Mitch Trubisky and you could put him with the right type of quarterback with a good running game, and that dude with a solid defense will go out and compete every year. Like,
I feel like if you took Mitch and went back into Family Matters and put him into that machine that made Urkel Stefan Urkel, that Mitch would be dope.
like think about if you're Mitch Trubisky though, right? You come to a city with a tough media and a history of just laying the egg and picking quarterbacks, right? And then they pair you with John Fox and his regime. Strike one.
Oh boy.
Then strike two. They pass you off to Matt Nagy, this pseudo offensive genius who literally just milked it off of Andy Reid's success.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's be real about Nagy, even as a player.
He's not ready. He's not ready.
CFL
Trubisky wasn't ready. Pace wasn't ready. It's all project.
All project stuff, man. So if you,
I thought the projects in the city were over.
It's like the Edens. It's always going to be under construction.
Right. They knocked them down. They put something else in there, and I mean, so real quick, let me get your predictions for this game against the Saints, man. What do you think is going to happen?
Bears will be at home. They're going to fool everybody in the city again. The Bears going to come out win like 23-20, and then Nagy will be like, "See, I told you so." And then the defense is going to.
And here's the thing,
fluff, man.
The Saints are gonna be missing Michael Thomas, just like the Lions were missing Galladay, just like the Falcons were missing Julio Jones. Just like every time they got to play a good team or a team with a decent offense, that they sit there and they get lucky because they don't have to play the best player, and that's what's gonna happen again.
I disagree with both of y'all. I think they lose 34-20.
Ooh wee.
I say
Saints Saints don't play well here.
I will say this: Drew Brees is washed.
Yes,
he's old. He's showing
right
it.
before our eyes. He is washed. Yeah. He is rinsed and he is hung out to dry. He is washed. and this is actually a matchup where if you can't push the ball down the field, then you make these guys one-dimensional. And
there you go.
The Bears have an opportunity to make Drew Brees look extremely washed next week.
All right,
Will, great stuff as always. Thanks for coming on and airing your grievances with us, bro.
That's right. All right, everybody, that is our Bears analyst, Il Brown. Check him out every week for his Bears expertise. And don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block, available on all major platforms. Thanks, Will.
Stanley says peace, y'all.
That's what's up. Appreciate it, brother.
Down, baby.
Noir Ceasar
is the first anime manga company to feature characters of color, bringing a level of flair and authenticity to the genre as a whole. With influences ranging from Japanese manga and animation, Western comics, streetwear, hip-hop, and various forms of cinema, Noir has created a unique style that can be appreciated by the masses. Check out noircaesar.com for more information.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z. We are here with Ozzie Guillen Jr. Let's continue our chat here.
So we talked about the phone call.
Yeah.
And you said you already alluded that, that you were already aware of the phone call that happened by the time presser happened.
Well, it's like I knew that Ozzie said, hey, Jerry called me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be the manager.
Okay.
Ricky just got fired. I said, oh, whoa, what? And I said, wait, a minute. What just happened? Wait, don't say anything. They're going to announce it, but I'm not the manager.
Okay.
I said, okay, let me call you back. But I didn't know details till afterwards, but it was, Jerry, we talked to Jerry always. We try to keep two things separated. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of respect for Jerry Reinsdorf, regardless of if Ozzie's managing the team or not. He's somebody that I hold personally to a very high standard, very high in my life, mentor. He was in my wedding. I have a picture of him, myself and my dad in my office.
Beautiful.
So I have a lot of love for Jerry.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, to have someone like that in your life, I mean, it's nice that you guys are you're still able to kind of have that communication.
Personal and business being separate, church and state kind of thing.
There you go, absolutely.
Yeah. So where I was going with that is like, you're finding it out from Senior. He lets you know. He says, okay, you can't disclose this. They're going to make this announcement, but if you can you disclose what were you guys feeling? What were you guys expressing to each other when?
What was the reaction?
Yeah, what was the reaction? Pretty much when Senior's telling you, hey, this is what happened. Even though you might have been or excited to maybe be the possible candidate.
I think there was a sense I could feel it in him, and he was sad the rest of the time. A sense of disappointment,
okay.
Because we always used to joke around that we always thought that they thought that he was the right guy. Mm-hmm. So for them to part ways with him, and it was like, oh wow, they're parting ways with him because they think that Ozzie might be the option. That's the first thing that pops up into your head,
right? Before
all the other stuff comes into it, because that's the first thing when you see the team, you see where the relationship had gone. That's the first thing you think about is like, not many teams. Again, it's hard for us because we see the game from like inside Ozzie's family, and then we see it as like outside. Mm-hmm. Not many teams out there can say the third best manager in our history is alive and lives, 15 minutes away from the stadium. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, so I thought that, maybe there was that chance, but I right away said, it's not me. It was a good conversation. It's not at the right time. And they said I said, okay, are you fine? He said, yeah. He said, the part that then it kicks in, and that's the part we talked about it later, is this is not good, because if the White Sox don't want to interview you, okay, mm-hmm. and you've got this team a ring.
Right. Okay? Like, where's the respect in saying, you know what, let's just
not respect with the White Sox. It's like, how are you going to be perceived in the rest of the league?
Right.
Yes. If you're not the guy for the White Sox.
That's what I'm saying. If he could have been interviewed at least for the White Sox, and they could have had it already in their mind. Ozzie's not going to be the guy, but at least they interviewed so he can get another interview with another team.
I think one of the things that and we've talked about this is, Ozzie, people don't realize how much Ozzie brought value to the organization, not only on the field, but off the field. Yes. Guys that he was involved in signing, guys that he was with in trades, guys that he said, this is the type of guy we got to go get. Guys that he told them that wouldn't make it, that didn't make it, wow. Even before they oh yeah. And that's what it starts is Ozzie's going to tell you the truth. This guy's good. This guy's not good. Mm-hmm. You know,
he doesn't hold much back.
Well, it's not only not hold back. He looks at the numbers and he says he doesn't have to look at a swing. He doesn't have to look. Maybe I have to look at the numbers to back up my belief.
Mm-hmm.
He has a talent that says that he can tell you that this guy's not going to be good. This guy's not going to be good.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And he was right lots of times. So I think that not having him there as a value, I think it's a detriment. Like it's a negative because he is a big baseball person. Again, I know that it's hard for them to. But Ozzie's always joked around like, you know, if Jim Thome was the manager, I'd be Jimmy's bench coach, so make sure that he doesn't mess up.
That's true.
You know, if so and so was a manager, I'd be the third base coach, so to make sure he doesn't mess up. Ozzie loves the White Sox that much that he would do that for them. Maybe not he wouldn't do it for Ricky. He wouldn't be Ricky's bench coach. But I'm saying for somebody else, you know, for somebody else,
for a good manager,
he would. No, I'm saying like again, but that's the relationship. So. I think for him, it was like, man, I think I'm never going to manage Major League Baseball again. And when you look around the league and you're like, if there was like a bunch of studs, you would say, okay, I can't manage anymore. But when you look around, you're like, these guys are not very good.
Yeah, there's a lot of managers out there that can't pull their weight.
Correct.
So now,
and they use the word, and they use now the word analytics, like you won't connect with them.
That's BS.
Like it's BS because it's just information. It's just better information. Right. So again, I think that there was no bad. I think it was like a kind of like, oh man, like a little bit of hope, but then that hope is cut off. And then it's like, I don't want to do it because he was upset. It's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the part that really hurts him, I'm not going to be honest. If Ozzie loses the job, in my personal opinion, if Ozzie loses to Tony LaRussa, he'll probably drink a bottle of champagne that night.
You know what? I'll buy it for him.
Because of this, because you're losing to Tony LaRussa.
Yeah.
Okay?
A legendary manager.
Like man, you lost the job to Tony LaRussa. It's like okay, it's
who's been out of the game for 10 years,
right?
Yeah, you know, like the guys like and Ozzie looks up to Tony in a big way. Like he was his manager when he was a rookie.
Right.
Ozzie has a special respect for Tony. If Ozzie goes and loses this to AJ Hinge, and I'm going to say his name, he's going to be so disappointed because Ozzie tried to do everything so right in his game, in his life, in the game of baseball. I'm not talking about outside of baseball. Right. In the game of baseball, that for someone to be considered before him that just came off a suspension is
for
like
cheating.
It's going to hurt him a lot.
For cheating,
yes. Correct. For him, he's going to be like, man, I should have cheated in 2008. Maybe we would have another ring. Maybe I'd be a Hall of Famer. Maybe I should have cheated in 2010. You know, and we talk about this all the time because of steroids. We're like, Dad, maybe you would have done steroids. You would have played longer. And he's like, yeah, but then I couldn't sleep at night because what happened if somebody came out and said that, you know, would call me out on it and then I couldn't like rebuttal. So those are all things that you talk about. So when it comes to that, I think that's the part that hurts him the most. Like if they went and hired, you know, Carlos Mendoza from the Yankees, it'd be okay, cool. You know, they want a younger guy, or they went and got, you know, somebody that was
Sandy
like
Alomar.
One of the minor league guys. Yeah, anybody, Sandy Alomar. It's like, okay, cool. If the manager happens to be that individual, I think it's going to hurt more. I think as a family, it's going to hurt more, even though I've been saying, you know, and Alex is a family friend that's, again, people are confused about it because I'm like, Alex was a coach on a staff that cheated. He wasn't the cheater in Boston. Totally different.
Right.
Okay. Because you're the boss. It's like a organized crime.
Right.
The boss says what's going to happen. Yeah. And with AJ, and I can't wait if he is a manager. Remember the press conference, he lied about in the press conference, was making fun of the Yankees saying, we didn't cheat. Yeah. We're just good. And he would so you obviously didn't feel that guilty about it because you wouldn't even have addressed it. So I think if he ends up being the manager, I think that for maybe 10 seconds, you're going to be like, damn, that's not fun. That's not fun. And it's a conversation that I'm glad my kids are not old enough that I want to say, yes, son, grandpa lost a job to somebody that did something wrong, but it's okay. Yeah. You know, because we're old enough that we can handle it and we can, you know, that's life. But that's the type of situation will be very, very hard. But yeah, so I think and again, whoever they go with, it's going to be their guy. It's going to be who they think is going to be the best guy. That part of the thing, I have my opinion on like who I think a guy might work or not work. But I think that part from an Ozzie perspective, I'm glad that they said that he wasn't the guy right away because it didn't bring up his hopes and everybody else's.
That's true.
So I got two things here for you, and I think I kind of know your answer on the second part, but now that we're kind of getting into that territory, I do want to ask you who you think the next manager of the White Sox should be. And two, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is Ozzie's desire to manage again in the MLB?
Ozzie's desire, the White Sox are just in general.
Just in on a scale of 1 to 10, what? Like I said, I think I know. Yeah, exactly.
A 10 because I think that when you have that competitiveness, okay, Ozzie, 2 years into the league, he was called a genius. He was called all these things, and now he's dumb because he has broken English. Like he can't read numbers. Like the guy, all he knows is baseball and only baseball numbers. Right. I think he's really, really good at it. So I think from a manager's perspective, okay, I'm going to give it 2 ways. If you hire AJ Hinch because you think his future he has a very big future, like you're hiring a first-year manager, then he's the right guy to hire. But don't tell me you're hiring AJ Hinch because he was good where he was at, okay? Because that's tainted with. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yep,
that means you did not do a good job handling the clubhouse. You did not do a good job. Again, they used to give you the analytics, which is my part that I'm scared is because Houston's analytics department, amazing compared to the White Sox one.
Yes.
That's it is. So the information that you're feeding him is like, what kind of information? So how good is he? If you're hiring him for future potential, I respect that. I don't agree when people are saying, again, I can understand because they've never talked to Tony LaRussa. Tony LaRussa is probably one of the sharpest people out there right now at his age. The guy's in top shape. His baseball mind is super sharp at this moment. If you think that Tony LaRussa cannot read a spreadsheet and talk about analytics, you're completely nuts.
So do you think that LaRussa should be the manager then?
Analytics before. Well, I'm not saying he should be or not should be. I think that if you go with Tony because you think that he's the guy that's going to get you there, people are saying if he's not the guy, why is he not the guy? Tony's the reason they started looking into analytics.
Right.
He said, what happened if I shorten the game to 6 innings? And people are like, you'll never understand 3-inning bullpen. I'm like, what? 3-batter bullpen. I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, Tony wrote the book on this. Yeah. So to say that he's too old or that he won't understand the numbers is you guys are crazy.
So that's not my concern with Tony because I know he's a baseball genius. My concern is, he's super, super, super duper old school, and with the new flashy players, with Tim Anderson bat flipping, and
Okay, I'll give you. The White Sox cannot talk about old school because they drilled the guy on purpose because he bat flipped.
No. I know that, but I'm just saying, how can you?
Okay.
But will Tony be a good spot for a good
Yes, he will. You know why?
Okay.
He's going to make them winners. Why? Because there's a place and a time, okay, on when to do something.
Okay.
And you teach your players, if you act a certain way, you have to let the other opponent do the same way.
Agree.
It's like growing up. It's like a point of how you grew up in baseball, like of what's expected, okay? Like if you're going to do something, you have to wait for them to do it back to you, okay? Like I'll give you an example. When AJ Pierzynski used to say certain things to other teams, Ozzie would say, hey, he's your teammate. If you guys don't tell him to be quiet, you guys better be able to handle what they tell us,
right?
Okay? And that's the game that we play. So I think that with Tony is not going to sugarcoat things, okay? I think Tony might be an issue because Tony might make somebody cry, okay?
Love this. Who's gonna cry?
No, I mean, like, so, and again, that's a part where I think of guys like Tony and Ozzie. It's not about the analytics. It's about Tony's gonna say, "Dude, get off, stop crying and play."
Right.
Okay, that's a situation where we've made such a big deal about this stupid bat flip. I'm being serious. Like the White Sox went and ran with it with the marketing, and like it's a big deal. Who cares? Okay, they should talk about this guy as a batting champion. It was a meaningless home run against a meaningless team in a meaningless situation. Okay. And then Wilson Contreras did it to them, and they drilled him. Okay, and that's when you look at like this team needed to grow up.
Yeah.
Okay,
agreed.
in that aspect, but I think that comes with the respect of the manager. I think when you look at the manager in the dugout, okay, do they respect the manager that they're going to do something that their manager's going to say, "Oh man." So do fans want a bat flipping contest? If fans want players to just do whatever, just make Tim Anderson a player manager or bring somebody from the minor leagues and let the players do whatever they want. If you think a team can win without discipline and with doing whatever they want to do, I don't care how good your analytics are, you're not going to win. Why? Because you need to bunt the guy over, you need to run the guy, you need to play as a team between catcher and pitcher. You need to do that. And there's this team right now, okay, is real fun when they're exciting. And it's really good when they're fun and they're dancing and they're doing the high five. But we saw what it looked like when they're not winning.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
and it
Danny
gets really
Mendick.
creepy
That's
and really quiet.
No dancing for dubs anymore.
Correct.
That's what
and
happened.
It gets really creepy, and so teams that are very up and down. Okay. They need somebody to step in and say, this is a leadership. Like right now, this is the greatest team on earth. Next year, the White Sox lose the first 20 games. We'll see how that clubhouse handles that. Okay.
And
between
especially
the guys
young
that
guys.
love Ricky and the guys that got Ricky out of there.
Right.
So again, this is like a learning curve of like what you take to the next level, because just because you've had success in the big leagues doesn't mean that you're a big leader, a veteran guy. Okay.
Right.
So how do you take that to the next level? I don't think that Tony's a detriment to that culture. Again, if you're going to get political and you're going to talk about taking a knee and not taking a knee and what guys are going to be allowed to do, that's for each team to do that. Again, Ozzie Guillen used to have everybody. His only thing was, I need guys to be in the line on time for the national anthem.
Yeah.
I don't care if you sit on your head. This is before all this political stuff. That was his rule. Everybody respected. I don't know how that would be taken to now. He just liked everybody being out there ready to play,
Right.
not because of the national anthem, but he wanted everybody ready to play that at that moment. I don't know how they would take it. So if that's the route the fans are going, but I don't think you can hate on Tony for being too old or too old school. By the way, everybody in baseball is old school, okay? When guys are doing that sort of thing, there's people in the dugout that cringe. Okay? Not everybody's Trevor Bauer. Not everybody's Tim Anderson. Not everybody's on Twitter. Again, so there's guys that cringe about it and say, and again, Wilson Contreras, the reason Wilson Contreras did what he did was to test it.
Yeah.
Okay? He was like, I'm going to see how big, how cool you guys think you are. I'm going to flip this to the moon.
He
And they
did
took it
flip
the
it
wrong
to
way.
the moon.
He
So
sure did.
again, and that's the baseball, and that's baseball. Okay. And I think that you're not going to change no matter what analytics say, no matter what players, you're always going to have competitors and you're going to have people there. So I don't think it's a detriment. I don't. I think that regardless if they pick him or AJ, whatever route they go, I do think this from a White Sox fan's perspective. Okay. I think if they do sign Tony LaRussa, I think the White Sox spend money. I think if the White Sox go AJ Hinch and analytical, I don't think you have to open up the book.
Okay.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Well, because if you're getting hired, if you're AJ Hinch, you're taking the job with whatever team they give you.
Right.
You want back in.
Right.
If you're Tony's like, oh, okay, by the way, if I take this job,
I need this
is what I want.
Yeah.
Right. All right, let's
especially at his level.
Let's switch gears here and let's talk about your show, Being Guillen. Tell us about the origin of the show.
Being Guillen, it originated because there was a show on Vida Baseball called the Ozzie Guillen Jr. Show, which I was like, I'm great, this is funny, but I always kept having my brothers and my dad as like, co-hosting and being my guest. And I said, it's more fun when we're like all together talking baseball,
right.
Okay? And there's a lot of arguing in our family amongst baseball philosophies. What we think. A lot of people talk about accounting. Their dads are accountants. A lot of people talk about that. Our family, baseball's what we, live and breathe. We're talking baseball consistently. And that's something that, it might be different to other people, but that's all we talk about because that's the only thing we all have in common, our love for the game and how we view the game. So we said, you know what, let's have fun with it. Let's get on and let's bring it from a perspective of having fun and talking about the game and showing like that side of our family. And it's been great. Again, people don't like the messengers, but the message is good. We just try to give you a perspective of when you sat in Ozzie's seat for that long and played Major League Baseball for that long, what you're commenting is actually stuff that players are thinking about.
Right.
I've been around the game my whole life. So we know when guys are making comments or things happen, like might be a little backstory to that because players are not going to change. So we try to bring that, try to have fun with it, try to give an insight on what our family is like and talk baseball, man. We love talking baseball. That's our passion. And it's been great. It's been living on La Vida's baseball platform. They created it. It's amazing. We make fun of Ozzie's English. We try to show a little bit of his genius. We do. It's really hard. Ozzie's never had an official English class. His only teacher was John Kruk back in the minor leagues.
Wow.
And when you think about it, Ozzie's job, other than managing the game, was to do pre and post game with the media every single day. Okay, that's a lot of media time. Right. So for the amount of blowups and whatnot, it wasn't that bad. And now he works in the game doing the pre and post. So we're like, dude, you do have a really good job. Like you've talked to the media a lot. That imagine if like your English was perfect. But it's funny because then he's like, well, then I still wouldn't be fake. And I'm like, I know you wouldn't. So it's just from our point is a sense of admiration. Okay. And from my dad's point, it's like, this is super cool where we're from. For me to be able to do a baseball show with my kids and talk baseball and get in deep discussions, because that's what we do. And it's really funny, and you get to see a little bit of, you know, everyone's personalities, and my kids are always on it. But yeah, it's fun. It's great. It's a good time. And I think you'll get really good baseball information. It's just a little bit different than the, you know, wins and losses.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really, really awesome to see that you're able to kind of have this, you know, family show where you guys can showcase not just Ozzie Sr., but you guys, you know, his sons and his grandkids and all that stuff, and that's really cool. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the things that you're doing over at the Ozzie Guillen Foundation?
Oh, so the Ozzie Guillen Foundation, we had like a rebrand, relaunching. We're trying to partner up right now with the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, to really push for education and really push for ability to be able to get into the workforce. Okay. Our story behind that is basically that Ozzie Guillen is somebody that has no high school degree. Okay. English is a second language, but because of his habits of being able to get up every day and work and follow very simple, direct mindset, he's been able to accomplish himself. You know, he was a player, and then he kind of converted into coaching, and then he converted himself into a managing, and now converted himself into a TV personality. It's like, how do you change those? How do you use those skill sets to change in the workforce where you need to be at? We really think that you fix poverty and you fix a lot of social issues by people having purpose and people having income. Yeah. Okay. Because sometimes we are forced to do things in our life because of the income that we are in. Makes you make decisions that you might regret later in life. So we really feel like we wanted to bring that to Chicago. And then the other part is I'm in recovery myself, an addiction recovery. Mine was for alcohol, but whatever your DOC is. And my parents were really, you know, they were really eye-open during the whole process of it. And we were of like, you know, we always thought it was a big taboo. So that's another part of like in our community and Latino community, and just in general, a lot of people are very scared to talk about addiction and mental health. Right. And because you look a certain way or you're a certain person, they won't talk about it. So we really want to bring down the stigma of there is hope, there is recovery. You shouldn't be embarrassed. You didn't do anything wrong as a family. Right. It is a personal choice, but you could get better. So we try to embody this all with the Ozzie Guillen Foundation. We have the website. We partner up with like what we just did right now with Goose Island. They created the Ozzie Burger, which is super cool. Ozzie's had a lot of really cool things. He's got an Ozzie Burger. When you go to Goose Island on Clybourne and you order the burger, which is really tasty, that money goes to our foundation and we help. And that's something that we want to keep growing because, you know, we love Venezuela where we come from, but Chicago is home to us. Chicago opened up her arms to us from day one. And no matter what happens in our future, this is where we're from. You know, Team Chicago is what I like to call it because, you know, we've been in a lot of places. We've had a lot of choices to live in a lot of places, but we picked Chicago. Nice. And for good or for bad, it's our responsibility to make it better. And, you know, we sleep with both sides of the aisle. Okay. People always say, oh, you support this alderman or you do this. We're like, we support everybody who's got great ideas. You guys are just and really wants to help the community.
You guys are just Chicago
just people, Chicago. Like, if Lori Lightfoot says tomorrow we need Ozzie Guillen's face because this campaign is going to help out 5,000 needed families, we will be there. Regardless of what we believe of her views. Just like if we would for the future mayor of Chicago or in the state of Illinois. We just want to be able to use his personality because sometimes someone would not connect to that movement because they don't know about it, but they'll think, oh, if Ozzie's doing it, that's super cool. And it helps out, man. Ozzie's Latino. Ozzie's been in Chicago a long time. He's seen this city change, but it's also a glue. It's also a glue that brings everybody together. And regardless of where you stand politically, we want to make the foundation about helping people. Right. Where you're at, sometimes, someone just needs a little bit of help to get to that next level because hard times don't last forever, but sometimes you need a hand. So that's what the foundation is all about.
Yeah. All right, man. Listen, before we let you go, we close out every show with this segment we have, and it's called Stirring the Pot. We will go back and forth. This is our food segment. Exactly. He's stirring the pot on the video, guys. So this is where me and Z will argue over a food topic. We've done fun things in the past, like blue Doritos or red Doritos. We argued if a hot dog was a sandwich. Last week we talked about
candy corn.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the few topics we've actually agreed on. But today, since we have you here, we will talk about baseball stadium food.
Oh boy!
Now you got to pick one. Okay, y'all ready?
I'm ready.
You know, the Chicago White Sox have not been good at a lot of things in their life. They're very good at one thing,
and that's the food.
That's the food.
That's the food at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Well,
it's always been amazing. The best hot dog, okay, the kosher hot dog at the cell at Comiskey Park, whatever you want to call it, is one of the best.
Okay.
Great food, great selection. This is why it's unfair to the Cubs, okay?
Love it.
Baseball food has always been horrendous. I'm saying, though, baseball food has always been horrendous in baseball.
I haven't even asked the question yet. I haven't even got to ask my question.
I love it already.
No, the Chicago White Sox, because here in Chicago, it's not fair. The Chicago White Sox invested a lot in food, maybe because our team was bad, and that was a way to get people in. But we've always been ahead of the curve.
You're trying to draw the crowd.
No, keep up with the people there.
Maybe 10, 15 years. No, I'm saying, no, maybe 10, 15 years. Why? Because when you go to the cell, maybe you're not just drinking.
Yeah.
I feel like the Cubs on that hand, they're actually getting way better. They're more old school. They were like, we don't care what we're serving. This is a hot dog, take it or leave it. But I think the Chicago White Sox were the first team that I used to go visit everywhere that had just really good food all around.
Okay.
I think now it's expected. Like, you know, now you go to Philadelphia, you got, you know, Philly cheesesteaks, and you got, you know, in Tampa, you got Cuban sandwiches. And it's just part of like the going to the stadium, eating part of that food. San Diego has amazing tacos. So I think, you know what the most underrated thing, though, most White Sox fans don't know about? And I think it's the best ticket in the stadium.
Okay.
Actually, the Cubs are just way more expensive, but they're the Cubs section in the outfield, to have like the food cooked in the outfield, the private party, that's really cool. But at the White Sox, actually very, very affordable, is the patio. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. $40.
The pregame.
Yes.
$40.
Drink.
Going to eat as much fried chicken as you want.
Ribs.
With cheeseburgers, with the Bertucci's,
Yes, the Bertucci
out in the patio.
We do that a lot. When we do the rooftops, that's one of the things that we do.
That's probably one of the best things food-wise that I've ever been a part of. And again, I'll give you the craziest one I've been. I got to eat lunch / dinner at the VIP club right behind home plate for the New York Yankees. And that was, again, I'm not gonna lie, I got the ticket for free. They had some extras. We went. I was with my mother, and it was like brand new. And I was like, oh my God! Like it was like we were like in a 5-star restaurant. And I heard the one in the Cubs is actually really good. So I've had that experience, and I'm like, man, this is how the other half lives. Like this is crazy. Like if I watch a game like this every day, I'd be weighing 700 pounds. But you know what? Food is great.
So let's wipe all that great food away from your memory. We're gonna start from scratch because I don't want any bias here.
Yeah,
because I have my own opinion. We're talking about like let's take it back to like 1982, old school baseball.
Okay.
Where we're talking about like
regular old school hot dogs.
We're talking about regular like dirt on the floor, the most basic old style or PBR at the park. Just
truffles.
Just garbage food. You know what I mean? Like just the trash food.
All right.
Go back. We're not talking about the fancy stuff with the truffle oil and all this, nonsense and everything like that. So
what do you got?
Number one, you got to pick one stadium food.
Gotcha.
Basic stadium food, not the fancy stuff we've been talking about. You got to pick between peanuts or a hot dog.
I'm taking
hot dog.
A hot dog every day.
Hot dog.
You're both wrong.
Hot dog.
You're both wrong.
What? There's a special taste.
You're both wrong.
Here's the
I'm
funny
going to tell you why. Hold up. No, you're not going to dominate me on this one. But I'm going to tell you why I'm picking peanuts.
Why?
When you're nervous, what do?
I don't know, drink.
You fidget and you
Why are you nervous?
Why are you nervous?
Because I'm watching a damn game.
You know why Ozzy's nervous? Because he's a Cub fan.
Oh, stop it. But this is my point. This is my point is that when you're nervous and you're fidgety, you're looking for something to snack on. You're looking for when you sit in your house and when we're watching a Bears game, you just killed a whole bag of chicharrones right now, didn't we?
That's right, yeah.
The whole bag from start to finish. I cracked that sucker open like third quarter. We finished it, okay?
But who doesn't like chicharrones?
But that's my point is that you sit there and you fit. But you understand what I'm saying? You fidget. You have something to kind of calm your mind, stuff like that. So you keep cracking a peanut. You throw a peanut. You crack a peanut. You throw it. If I have a hot dog, hot dog, you're swallowing that hot dog like you're getting paid to do it under a bridge. Okay?
I agree. No, I agree. When it comes to food like that, you know what's funny though that you said that? This year in spring training, I went to a stadium. I'm not going to disclose where because I don't want to hate. Okay. But they didn't have any peanuts in the stadium.
What the?
That's weird. That's super weird.
And I said, what kind of baseball game is this? I was like, I don't care if they don't sell. You still have them there, just like the program.
Yes, right. Yes.
I don't care if you never sell one program. The program guy needs to stand there and tell me, program. I don't care if nobody stops and buys it for you. That's your job.
See, and that's my whole thing here is when I talk about peanuts or hot dogs. Like I know we talked before. We talked about Jimmy's. We talked about Gene and Juice. We talked about all these old school places where yes, the hot dog is associated with the ballpark.
Yes.
Where else?
The smell of the hot dog. As soon as I walk into the same, I smell that hot dog. But what I'm saying, brings back memories.
But what I'm saying is, you walk into Jimmy's, you walk into Gene and Juice, you walk into Taylor Street, wherever it is you like to go eat your hot dogs. Where else in your life are you sitting around and eating shelled peanuts or taking a shot out of peanuts? You understand what I'm saying?
No,
like you couldn't associate. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Unless you go to Texas Roadhouse and they're
on the floor.
And they're on the floor. But that's what I'm saying.
One other place, and the players are eating it too, which is very ironic because the players are also eating peanuts.
That's what I'm saying. So
peanuts, sunflower, seeds, right?
So that's why I'm going with the peanuts. That's why I go with the peanuts.
I agree. You know which one's an underdog that most that I associate with baseball? You don't eat it anywhere else except at a baseball game. Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I agree with you there.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never eaten a Cracker Jack anywhere.
Right.
I don't think anywhere else. Period.
I mean, it's in Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
I associate baseball with Cracker Jack.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that's why it's put into the song.
And guess what they put in Cracker Jack?
Peanuts.
That's right, baby. Yeah. Y'all argue my point for me.
No. You know what? You're very honest because I'm a big sunflower seed guy. Yeah. Again, I went through my phase of tobacco. It is what it is. But if I do go to the stadium, like I won't go and buy that type of food to eat at home. But if I'm at the game, I'm buying a bag, okay, and I'm sharing it.
You know what I mean? And it's
just like you're buying your own bag. And so regardless of that, I think that I always go to the stadium and I do buy a bag.
There you go.
Regardless of where I'm at the stadium. It's something that I have. I love scorekeeping. So I think that now that you said that, I think that with scorekeeping, it goes hand in hand.
Hey, guess what? Cubs fan wins again. Bam!
Oh, relax.
No.
Here we go. All right, everybody. And that was Ozzie Guillen Jr. Tell us, fans, where they can find your show. Tell the fans where you can find the show.
So the show lives on social media. It's on @LaVida Baseball on all Instagram, Facebook, @LaVida Baseball. You can follow me on Twitter, Guillen Jr. We shared on our page, Being Guillen, but it's a show that's on demand. If you're on YouTube and you just want to check out baseball content, go to LaVida Baseball, and all our content will be there. It's everything, man, from the history of the game. And one thing that people don't understand is the show's not in Spanish. Okay. We try to feature players that are not usually the top guys to get featured. Okay, our focus was, everybody knows how good Mike Trout is, but we want to know, like, who are the next up-and-coming Mike Trouts? Right. We want to shed a light on the stories of the players that are coming in and performing. So we want to show, like, the whole player. Huge social media following, meaning we follow the players and what they're doing in social media. We try to get to see what the players are doing outside. And then if a player is Latino, we like to interview them in their native language, and then we translate it to English with the words in the bottom of the subtitles. Nice. So we just want to be able to get away from the gambling, the wins and losses, and really show like what the fans are feeling and what the players are feeling. That's the story, and it's been a great play so far. Hopefully, you guys enjoy. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it every week. I've seen Friday's episode, which is amazing. But thanks so much. We look forward to having you again on the show, and we'll see you soon, brother.
Oh, thank you for having me. And yes, for the Being Guillen show, the show is not about the Chicago White Sox.
No, it's not.
Okay?
It's just baseball.
It's not about the Chicago Cubs. It's just baseball. No, because we get mad. Like, we're on the show. People are like, is the show supposed to be about the White Sox? No, it's not. And vice versa. It's a good baseball show for everybody that wants to get in. Again, how many places do you get the inside scoop on World Series winning manager?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Right. All right, Ozzie, appreciate you so much for being on.
Thank you, James.
No, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
All right, y'all, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, Noir, Ceasar, Villain Radio Studios, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. Thanks to our Bears analyst, Il Brown. Don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block, which is available on all major platforms. Shout out to Ronesh, our producer, Jay Soto. Shout out to Mike Logic and Ideal from the AllNet podcast, whose show will return soon after a brief hiatus. And big shout out to our special guest, Ozzie Guillen Jr. Don't forget to check out his show, Being Guillen, on lavidabaseball.com. Check us out on social media. You can find us at True Chi Fans on Twitter. That's True CHI Fans. And on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you. Reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. And one last thing I do want to mention, shout out to my little buddy Cheetos, our cat that was with us for 15 years. He went to kitty cat heaven this week. You know, it's always hard to lose a member of the family, and we will miss him dearly. All right, y'all, for Big Z, this is E-Roc. We'll see you next week for episode 17, where our guest will be Tom Geiger to talk about some of the recent Blackhawks news. And until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sport.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
Go grown. Go cat.
Go cat.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. Show's over, show's over, show's over.